Happy birthday, Dimitri! Quinlan, and this is Melbourne Musos live. And it's Dimitri Shostakovich's birthday. Happy birthday, Dimitri. 25th of September 1906 was when he was born, so I'm doing this the day after on the 26th, and there it is. He is my favorite composer for many reasons. He's a very famous Russian composer, and I'm going to get into the music, but I'm just going to read this. The impact of Shostakovich on modern composers. Dmitri Shostakovich was a prolific and influential composer whose works have had a significant impact on modern classical music. Here are some key insights from Redditors on his life, struggles and artistic contributions. So thank you, Redditors out there from Reddit. There you go. Political and personal struggles. Soviet oppression. Shostakovich faced significant political pressure and censorship from the Soviet regime. Shostakovich was sieged in his home for years by the USSR and hid manuscripts in the floorboards. Better do a right note here, Dmitri. Off to the gulags for you. There you go. Formalism. He was often criticized for formalism, which was a blanket term for any art that didn't adhere to socialist realism. Formalism isn't really a style, more a general approach to art. So, Comrade Stalin said, I don't like that Lady Macbeth of Majinsk or whatever that city was called. Sorry, I'm just trying to go off my head. But Lady Macbeth, I didn't like that one. Careful, Dmitri. Personal risks. Shostakovich lived under constant threat, and his works often reflected his defiance and solidarity with those who suffered under totalitarian regimes. Shostakovich's life and music is in no way pro-modern Russia, and to think so is ignorant and illogical. Oof. Mr. Redditor there got a bit heavy. Musical impact is something that I'm going to come back to very quickly. But one of the things about our Dmitri, he's probably most famous for his 7th symphony. He wrote 15 symphonies and 15 string quartets. The symphonies he was so famous, he was almost like the state composer. However, buried underneath the harmonies and stuff were melodies from peoples that were being oppressed at the time during those dark times. But one of his most famous symphonies is the 7th. The Melbourne Symphony Orchestra do a rip-snorter version of it, and ABC Classical have been playing Shostakovich's work all week, because every time I'm in the car it comes on and it's Dmitri again, because it's his birthday. There you go. Or yesterday anyway. And what it was his 7th symphony, where the siege of Leningrad by the Nazis in World War II, and they smuggled out the symphony through microdots, micro whatever, and was played all around the world in solidarity in the fight against the Nazis. And there you go. That's our Dmitri! Oh, fantastic! That was a perverted form of Anyway, there you go. Now, why am I doing this? Why do I have the triggers tuned to D, E flat, C, and B in one octave and in the lower octave there? It is because it spells out his name in German, funnily enough. The D, and then in German, S-C-H, the first, the letters of his surname. D for Dmitri, rest for Shostakovich. If you spell his name in German, it came up like that. And do you know who told him about that? Papa, his son, while I was giving him a piano lesson. And it's inscribed on his tombstone. You see, D, E flat, C, B. It is part of, you could call it a part of a diminished scale. I'll come back to the theoretical part of the program very soon. Musical impact, emotional depth. Shostakovich's music is known for its emotional depth and complexity, often reflecting the struggles and resilience of the human spirit. Shostakovich's Seventh Symphony, what did I tell you, which was written during this time and dedicated to the besieged Leningrad, now called St. Petersburg. Influence on modern composers. His works have influenced many modern composers, particularly in his use of irony and hidden messages within his compositions. Shostakovich's Fourth and Fifth Symphonies, both great pieces with very, very different approaches to the art form. Adaptability. Shostakovich had to adapt his style to survive under Soviet scrutiny, which led to a varied output. Compare Shostakovich's film music to his symphonies, to his chamber music. Some of the stuff is absolutely brilliant. Got into a little bit of jazz too. Cultural and social context. Symbol of resistance. Shostakovich became a symbol of resistance against oppressive regimes, both in the Soviet Union and abroad. The premiere of his Seventh Symphony in Allied nations brought Western attention to the Soviet struggle. What did I tell you? Such a wonderful piece of music, but it's very bang. Relatability. He was seen as a relatable figure, especially in the West, for his struggles against totalitarianism. There's a piece out there called Shostakovich, We Understand, a journalistic piece. That's it for now with me talking about that. This is about, I call these ones, I always come back to that, I always call these ones Drumming with Dmitri. And what it's about is that I come back to him. He's been very influential to me for such a long time. I've got his books in the other room. I'm a bit of a completist with his music, so I've got a whole row of Shostakovich, all of them. I'll try to. And I have patches to his name, his motif. And that's what you have, you see. So many of his pieces of music, you'll hear it. Oof. If Dmitri had a heavy metal drummer to go to in the 1930s, he would have used them because the kind of music. Go to the Seventh Symphony once again. This crescendo. It's like a bolero thing where it grows. For those of you who don't know the bolero, what it is a piece of music that starts very softly and builds up to a roar, and the movement where it's reflecting the Nazis of World War II besieging Leningrad. The big, long bolero type thing is just a wonder to hear live. And as I said, I've heard the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra do it, and it's just like you're in shock, you know, that kind of thing. So anyway, there you go. Oh! And he was prone to, like... prone to being very soft and then dramatic escalations. Exclamation. Get your teeth in, Chris. Getting carried away. Now I'll go to his life. I'll read a bit about his life here. Dmitri Shostakovich, 25th of September. Happy birthday, mate. 1906 to the 9th of August 1975. Was a Soviet-era Russian composer and pianist who became internationally known after the premiere of his first symphony in 1926 and thereafter was regarded as a major composer. Oh, there he is. Shostakovich achieved early fame in the Soviet Union but had a complex relationship with its government. His 1934 opera, Lady Macbeth of Msensk, I said it properly then, there it is there, was initially a success but later condemned by the Soviet government, putting his career at risk. In 1948, his work was denounced under the Zhdanov doctrine with professional consequences lasting several years. Even after his censure was rescinded in 1956, performances of his music were occasionally subject to state interventions, as with his 13th Symphony, 1962. Over the course of his career, he earned several important awards, including the Order of Lenin from the Soviet government. Shostakovich combined various musical techniques in his works. His music is characterized by sharp contrasts, elements of the grotesque and ambivalent tonality. He was also heavily influenced by neoclassicism and by the music of Gustav Mahler. His orchestral works include 15 symphonies and 6 concerti, 2 each for piano, violin and cello. I heard the cello one just in the car the other day. Does anyone ever, when a good piece of music comes on, you go, oh, this one, I love this song, you keep driving around the block till it's done, and then you go into the driveway. I've done that a number of times. Anyway, there you go. And that was one of them, the second cello concerto. Just the other night, his chamber works include 15 string quartets, a piano quintet, and 2 piano trios. His solo piano works include 2 sonatas, an early set of 24 preludes, and a later set of 24 preludes and fugues. Stage works include 3 completed operas and 3 ballets. Shostakovich also wrote several song cycles and a substantial quantity of music for theatre and film. Shostakovich's reputation has continued to grow after his death. Scholarly interest has increased significantly since the late 20th century, including considerable debate about the relationship between his music and his attitudes towards the Soviet government. Woo! Now, all right, they're strings, but he would do other things, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to a harp. I might go Celtic harp. His ability to go soft to loud and just the drama of it. Where the Tsar Nicholas at the time, because everyone was starving and they wanted food. He ordered the army to shoot on his own people. That happened in 1905. And Shostakovich's portrayal musically, so much pathos, it's just amazing. And a lot of people thought that it was really, when he wrote it, it was really about Stalin. He would hide themes buried in that sort of thing. And at the time, with the Holocaust and everything that was happening, in World War II and stuff, to evoke that and to evoke the human spirit, he buried Jewish folk melodies in his works by diminution and augmentation. So you might have a melody that's all in, say, quavers, but he'd be almost subliminal. He'd put them in semi-briefs, so the melody would take ages to come through and things like that. Like I mentioned before, he would do things like that. And the personal motif is really quite famous. And he had a lot of humour. He was actually a registered soccer referee. So he could be playful as well. So it wasn't always grim. He had a fascination of how, in the most basic of ways, is how to turn a minor key or to make a happy melody out of minor keys. So there's a lot of irony. He's a master of musical irony. Love to smoke and a drink. Hey Dimitri, fancy a beer? Yeah, don't mind if I do, comrade. Let's go see a soccer match. Oh, chaotic. Now, this show, I suppose I better think about putting a little bit of continuity to it. One of the things that he was fantastic at is all aspects of music and the moods therein. So when you could have something playful, then next thing you know, it's the drama of living in those times. A lot of the music that he did, especially during the 1930s, during the Russian Great Purges with Stalin, is that he would write at his desk at night after his family went to bed, went to sleep, and he had a small bag packed next to his desk. He'd write in silence, and if the secret police would come to the door to take him away to the gulags, he'd just go quietly, and that's what it was. So music that he was able to write under those conditions makes him so much more than just another one of those composers. That's why I love Dmitri Shostakovich. There you have it. I'll read a little bit more, play a little bit more, then I'll love and leave you. Oh my Lord, there we go. Music. Oy. Shostakovich's work are broadly tonal, but with elements of atonality and chromaticism. In some of his later works, the 12th Quartet, string quartet, he made use of tone rows. You know about tone rows? You do all. I'll do that another day. I've done a show on them. His output is dominated by his cycles of symphonies and string quartets, each totaling 15. The symphonies are distributed fairly evenly throughout his career, while the quartets are concentrated towards his later life. Wonderful. One of the things that is often said about Dmitri's symphonies and his string quartets, a bit random, ladies, but what it is the fact that the symphonies were for everyone, but the quartets were much more personal. So when you get, like, I've got the box sets of each one. I just fascinated. All right, I've got it. I understand, ladies. There you go. But I'll be back in a second, okay? And what it is that the symphonies represent this, the soul of the people of the times, and they were turbulent times. I mean, we're talking about everything pre-World War II through World War II to the Cold War era and his fights and struggles throughout. But the string quartets were often thought were for himself and his heart and soul. And there you go. So, what a guy! So I'm going to finish off now, and I'm going to do strings tremolo, which are a little bit different. I had staccato strings before, bam, 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 bam. But this time. Shostakovich, happy birthday, mate. And now for a nice glass of